Hey, welcome back. Now that it's gotten to be about 22 degrees outside, I believe it's about time while I figure out why my heater decided to quit working. It was fine when I did the coolant change and everything, and I've got plenty of blower. All of my positions work. So the fan stuff inside there, all the blower vanes and everything, they're working. Now that could be a problem if you don't have any heat. So I knew all this was working. I've got the engine idling and it's cold right now. But I did this before and it got up to about halfway on the gauge over there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I couldn't figure out why there's no heat coming in here. So I did a little research and go back out under the hood and I'll show you. Right down here are the two lines going to the heater core. And I discovered that this Mustang does not have a heater control valve. I'm old school and I was expecting to see some sort of a valve in here controlled by a vacuum line that would switch to heat. Normally these heater cores are shut off from the engine, but this Mustang's heater core is constantly running, and even though the air is on, the heat is deflected using vanes inside the cowling there, behind there, the dash, and it distributes the heat away from the cabin, so your air conditioning would work. Anyway, in the wintertime, you switch to heat, and now the vanes take over and deliver heat to the cab. So I did not see no valve there, so I thought, oh my gosh, and come to find out that, like I said, they don't have one anymore. It's constantly flowing through the heater core to help cool the engine. Now, as I'm driving down the road and wondering why I don't have any heat, and the car's running fine, it's never getting over half, I discovered that if your coolant level is too low, then it will not get up to the heater core and you won't have any heat. I know, it sounds funny, but that's true. And it's enough to circulate through the engine to keep it from overheating, but not enough to deliver heat to the cabin. So anyway, I did a little research and under the hood here, and I discovered, well, there's nothing in here. And I look in the overflow here, and there was nothing in there either. It was bone dry. So what I did is I dumped a little coolant in there, tried the heater, and all of a sudden it was working. But still, everything was very low out here. And what I need to do is go up here and take this loose and let the coolant, when I fill this, the coolant should overflow out here, and that'll get rid of all the air gaps in the system. That's where I'm at. What I'm going to do, as soon as the thermostat opens, and that's why it's showing coolant in it, because the thermostat is not opened yet. There's still a little in the block, but there's nothing in the heater core to help anything. Well, actually there is now, because like I said, I did add some, and when I added some, it gave me a little heat in there. Still, this is empty, and the radiator's empty. So what I need to do is I need to top everything off, put coolant in here, go over here, and then when it starts coming out up here pretty good, then I'll know I have everything filled up. So what I'm doing now is I'm waiting for this the heater core to open up so I can get started. After I get this filled and coolant coming out over here, then I'll shut it off and I'll fill this coolant reservoir up to about where it's supposed to be. There's a mark over there on the side. And check it when it's cold in the morning, and it'll probably go down a little bit, but it shouldn't, because like I said, when it's full, it'll come out of here. And I will have heat again. So if you're having trouble with your heater not working, then first thing you should do is check and make sure, with your engine cold and not running, take the cap off and make sure it's cold. Look in there. If you don't see any coolant at all down in there, which I did not, now I have it, like I said, I added some, and you don't see any coolant in there, put a little coolant in it, fill it up, see what happens. If you got heat, then you know you got to do what I'm doing right now and get the air back out of the system and make sure it's totally filled. As this starts to open, probably we'll see bubbles. Alrighty, it looks like the thermostat is open, and I've got nothing coming out up there. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this, wait for it to come out up there. I opened it, there was a little pressure in there, and what was in the block had come out before it got hot. You want to do this when the engine's cool. And I just checked the temperature gauge and it's warmed up a little bit, not halfway, so I think I'm good to go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add the coolant to the filler spout on the radiator. I'm just using a universal antifreeze 50-50 mix. Mixes with all makes and models of coolant, so I'll make sure we mix with the Ford. It's got sort of a yellowish color to it. Now this is liable to close the thermostat up as I'm dumping this in. So you can see it's coming out pretty good up there. That means it's circulating pretty good. I don't think it's too hot. Yeah, it's a little warm. Okay, I'm going to turn it off, see what happens. Okay, I'm going to add a little coolant to the radiator. While I'm at it, I'm going to go get a funnel and I'm going to see if I can add some to there at the same time. I just remembered I wanted to add some coolant leak repair, stop leak, whatever you want to call it, to the radiator. Because obviously, for me to run out of antifreeze within a year's time, I must have a small leak somewhere. And I haven't been able to find it, or I didn't notice it. So I've got the cap on tight, and the radiator stop leak is in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little antifreeze coolant. I'm going to fill that up, make another mess. And then I'm going to run it some, let it circulate pretty good. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to fill this coolant reservoir up so that it can replenish itself as it needs to. I cannot find a smaller funnel, so this is going to be fun. I can see it's full. Okay, now we just put this back in. Tighten it down. The rest goes in the overflow tank. All told, with the mess, I've put in 1.5 gallons, counting this overflow. Okay. And you can see I've got it up to right about there. A little bit higher than it should be, but I think there might be room for some more in the system there. Now, if you want to do this when it's cold and not go through all the mess that I've made, when you take your cap off and it's down, fill that up, take that off. If you don't see any in there, find a small funnel, fill it so until it overflows. Then top off your coolant tank. So let me do the one more thing. Okay. This always makes me feel better. I don't like antifreeze on anything. It does have a tendency to eat stuff. This flushes it all off. Water. Okay. That should do it. I got heat. I know I got heat. And by the way, if none of this works, you could have a heater core. It could be plugged up and you would have to take one of those lines off and see if any water or coolant was coming out through there. You could also flush it out with a garden hose. But we're not going to go into that because that is a real mess and a half. Hope this video gives you a little help. Until the next video, this is Steve AZ711, Cars, Trucks, and Detours. Bye for now.